Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. And it is the Demetra K show where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. Also, like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation, and you are family. And sometimes we share the link. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, please show me this. And if you're not comfortable, you can go back to that. Especially if I've never seen you on here before, you absolutely must show me your face so we can make sure you are who you are and there's no shenanigans involved. Today, we're going to be talking about the end of a love affair between Elon Musk, who was at the head of Doge, and President Donald Trump. We're going to talk about their feud. Is it really over? Is it over?
Yes, it's over. The kids are grown.
Yes, indeed. So we're gonna get into that. Let's see who's on here before I give it to Donovan. Love Winsome, how you doing? Yes, you caught alive. Woo! Tyrone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Troy, what is going on with you? Simo, hope you're having a great day. Brother Thunder, you've been missing in action, but we are glad you're here today. Taz, what's going on? Star Jammer, hope you're having a great day. Mrs. White, hello, hello. You said it was a marriage made in Hades. That's what Love Winsome said. Anyway, I'll get to everybody else. Donovan, what say you?
What say me? Welcome, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in this live that we are having right now. Please forgive Demetra K as she is going from coast to coast, back and forth, coming into California tomorrow. I will make sure that the Border Patrol is there to collect her black card of California, since she's moved to Houston and all that other stuff. But in all seriousness, welcome to the program. Great to have you guys. Do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it at Google Play, Apple Store. A lot of stuff going on in the African diaspora, you guys. You guys hear Jean, the press secretary, now she's an independent. I hate the way that these bootlicks, it's like saying progressive. They've watered down progressive to where it means nothing. Now, all of these people who lied and gaslit, all of not you guys, but those people, and told them lies, are acting like they had nothing to do with it. She was the chief gaslighter. So the African Diaspora News Channel app, you guys can check it out. Google Play, Apple Store. Also, you guys see that banner at the bottom that's scrolling across? If you guys want to continue to donate to the show and keep the content creator motivated, so we have these great conversations, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money order, plane tickets. You might get flued out, all that other stuff. No, I'm messing with you guys. But those are ways that you guys can contribute and keep these great conversations going. We have midterms coming up. Do not be fooled, you guys. Jim Clyburn, had fish fry, had fish fry. And the people said that the fish was dry.
The fish fry was dry. That's a damn shame. You can't even get no moist fish. Just cheap. Anyway, so hello to everybody that's come on here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Give everybody just a second or two. I tell you what, Donovan, it is hot here in Houston. I am looking forward to going back to California, where it's just a tiny bit cooler. I don't know. It's y'all a lot cooler, but y'all don't have the humidity. When I say y'all, I mean us, because I'm from California.
Yeah, it's dry heat. We don't have the humidity. I think that's what makes us a little bit better than the South and back East. That humidity is
awful. You just, I washed my hair today and I blow dried it, and I'm trying to get it to stay out, and the humidity was like. So anyway,
with all that humidity down there, and you're in Houston, what I don't understand is, with all the diseases and STIs and breakouts that they have down there, the humidity is so uncomfortable. I don't see how people are getting together like that. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on that. Stay away from me, sucker. That would be me. I said 92 in Sacramento. Okay, yeah, it is very hot. Martina, how you doing? Says, yes, it is. I'm here. I'm about to die. I can't wait to go back to Cali. Hey, Ernest, brother Sammy, how you doing? Yeah, Cali is hot, but it's not hot like it is here, Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. As you guys may or may not know, there was a, I got to be careful what I say. I can't say that either. Well, the shoe dropped, okay? The other shoe dropped, or both shoes dropped yesterday as Elon Musk really ripped into Trump yesterday. Now, he was doing it kind of subtly over the last couple of days. Of course, he owns X. I still call it Twitter. But he basically is not happy about the big, beautiful bill, right? He says it needs to be the big, skinny bill because it's actually going to add trillions more to the American taxpayer. He said that it's going to cost just at least $1 trillion more in taxes on that bill to the American people. Never mind all the other things that it's going to do. Basically sounds like Elon was mad that it's kind of going to undo what he was doing at DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. You guys know he was over that. He stepped down last week sometime. But it was always said that he was going to step down, but it came to a head yesterday. And so it says the once a strong alliance between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk has recently unraveled into a public and political significant feud marked by personal insults. Okay. Now it says policy disagreements and potential economic repercussions. Elon Musk, who is a major supporter of Trump's 2024 presidential campaign and served as co-leader of the Department of Governmental Efficiency, DOGE, began criticizing Trump's flagship legislation, the One Big Beautiful Bill, a tax and spending package Musk labeled as fiscally irresponsible and corrupt. The criticism led to Musk's departure from his advisory role in the White House, as I just said. Now, the feud intensified on yesterday, right? When Musk publicly accused Trump of ingratitude and suggested that Trump would have lost the 2024 election without his support. He also made unsubstantiated, and I'm going to put this up, claims linking Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. In response, Trump dismissed Musk as a man who has lost his mind and threatened to terminate federal contracts with Musk's companies. And the feud has significant economic implications, particularly concerning SpaceX, approximately $22 billion in government contracts, which are now at risk. Musk briefly announced plans to decommission SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, NASA's exclusive U.S. vessel for transporting astronauts to the ISS, before reversing the decision. The conflict has also impacted financial markets, with Tesla stock experiencing a significant drop. But I saw earlier, not too long ago, that it looked like it rebounded a little bit. So I don't know, it's probably all over the place at this point. Now, currently, while the White House has attempted to mediate the situation, Trump has shown little interest in reconciliation. The feud has become a focal point in political discourse, with late-night comedians and political commentators highlighting the dramatic fallout between the two figures. Now, I should also say, and as y'all can see there, Elon Musk has time to drop the really big bomb. I kind of scratched it out. He says Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Is basically what he's saying. So, of course, with that, everybody was like, oh, do tell. Now, we kind of already knew that Trump was, friends with Epstein to whatever degree. It sounds like he's been on his planes at least 7 times, for what I understand. What he was actually doing there, if he's ever gone to Lolita Island, I don't know if that has been determined. But Elon Musk, who was considered kind of like the right-hand man, I know the vice president is considered that, but right up before the election, when Elon, I think they said he put like $300 million into getting Trump elected. He was kind of Trump's right-hand man, right? When you saw him, you saw Elon standing right next to him. His child was there at the White House. So they were good and close. And he says, and I'm paraphrasing, I love Trump as a straight man or something like that. So basically he's saying no homo type of thing. So he went on and on. Y'all saw him with the double MAGA hats and all kind of stuff, right? But there's been a lot of people, especially the Republicans. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is saying, well, basically that's unfortunate, but we're united as ever. But there's some Republican senators that's like, I don't know, they basically kind of said, and forgive me their names, I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but they basically said, well, we have concerns too about the bill. It is, overinflated to some degree. Now, they can only lose, I think, 3 Republican votes for it not to pass. And it sounds like when it went through the House, they kind of had a difficult time then. So some are speculating that this big, beautiful bill that a lot of people are saying that is designed to give billionaires tax cuts and things like that, that it may not pass. Of course, the opposition, the Democrats, are also saying that it's going to cut into Medicare, food stamps, housing, and a whole bunch of other things that is going to disproportionately harm people who need it. So will it pass? I don't know. It sounds like they have by July 4th to pass it. But the rift between Trump and Elon sounds like there may be a little bit of rift there with the Republicans. And lastly, Donald Trump told Vice President J.D. Vance to be cordial when it comes to speaking about, Elon. Let's not basically get out there in the mud. So anyway, I'm going to get to you guys' comments. Donovan, what do you say?
Are you dead serious? Donald Trump is telling J.D. Vance to be cordial and not get out there, and that's like, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? But here we are, you guys. This is no surprise to me. As we all know, Republican policy for the last the last 40 years has been tax cuts for the wealthy. They actually believe in trickle-down economics. The problem is trickle-down economics does work, you guys. It does. The problem is you give the money to all the people at the top. They don't want to pass it down. That's the problem. So that's no surprise in the Republican giving that out and saying, "Oh, look what we're doing." Do not let these Democrats gaslight you as in this is a big surprise. This is Republican policy, so that's no big deal. Oh, the wealthy. We had a Democratic president in there that didn't do anything for the American people, but he did it for illegals. So do not fall for all that BS, whatever. Now, the rise of the oligarchs. What are we expecting here? Now that these guys have come out of the shadows, what do you think is going to happen? They're like anybody else. They're going to fight. They're going to disagree. They're going to do all that. Now we can see it being done in the open. I'm going to give you guys a secret. Dimitri and I traveled to an island known as the Seychelles. Some of you guys have probably heard it. The Seychelles is very famous for the simple fact that the ultra rich go there and they decide what's going to happen on this planet. In your lives, in your jobs. All of that happens there because there's not like a lot of press there. It's kind of a little islands, and they're hidden off of the eastern side of Africa. And that's where all the rich people go to make these decisions. So it's no big surprise that they've come out of the shadows. They're arguing in the open because they feel free to do that. But do not get distracted, just like Elder Dwayne Hull says, from what's really happening. It makes great theater. It's, again, another political theater thing. But what is it about Donald Trump that he did not say he wasn't going to do that's any different than what's happening right now? He's doing everything he said he was going to do. We knew he was going to do tax cuts for the rich. We knew he was going to do the military-industrial complex. We knew he was going to cut this. We knew he was going to cut that. There is nothing new under the sun. So in my words, don't believe the hype. But I will say this, to have an oligarch put Donald Trump in his place, that goes to show you, is the president of the United States the most powerful person on the earth? Because Donald Trump could have the man killed. He could. But again, Donald Trump is worth, I think, $4 to $6 billion allegedly. Elon Musk is 300 times more valuable than that. And it's crazy. And as far as SpaceX, you guys do realize SpaceX launches a satellite, or they go into space twice a week. So they are the premier entity in our space program and getting our equipment to and from and to. So a lot of this is theater. But like I said, it's kind of good when you see them smacking each other, because at the bottom, when you're looking up at everything else, it's kind of good to see them kind of arguing and kind of dealing with some of the things that we've been talking about for years. What do you guys got to say?
Absolutely. So let's get into the comment section. Asia, how you doing? I actually agree with you. Elon, I believe, knows a lot of Trump's business. Of course, I think, Trump was probably pillow talking. And let's keep it a buck, Donovan, you're absolutely right. Is Trump really the most powerful man in the world, or is it Elon? Now, of course, we know Trump has the pen or whatever the case is. And I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, he should be deported. Oh, and they should take, SpaceX from him. And Steve Bannon was actually saying that, and he's absolutely wrong. There is no law that would allow the government to take SpaceX or any of that, what belongs to Elon. That's unconstitutional. It can't be done. But that's the other thing too. We got to stop listening to people in these talking points. Steve Bannon, I don't know why he's not in the White House. Sounds like he kind of fell out too. Maybe he's trying to get his way back in there. He's not a big fan of Elon or whatever the case is, but he just bumping his gums. They can't take Elon's. It's a private company. And it's unconstitutional. You cannot seize people's property, because you wanted to, whatever the case
is. Without due process. You can seize it, but they got to give him due process.
Yeah, like, did he commit some crimes? Whatever. It's like, what's attached to that? So we got to be smarter than the average bear when it comes to that. But Asia, I agree with you. I think there's been a lot of pillow talking. Shaniqua, how you doing? There's been a lot of pillow talking going on. What does Elon know? Because, we saw Trump say some things, but he didn't just go ham like he normally does, right? Like if it was a Biden or anybody else that he doesn't like, he just lets it rip, right? Now he says some things. Now, of course, we also heard people say, oh, he should be deported. It's like, do y'all really think that they're going to deport Elon Musk? Don't ever get it twisted. Yeah, Trump might got some power as the president, but he ain't got $300 billion. And everybody wants to be friends with the richest man in the world, because being friends with the richest man in the world, it comes some benefits. What can you do for me, right? And clearly Elon loved Trump or whatever the case is. Now, I don't really know, and I guess we will probably never really know what the spat was about. We hear it's about the one big beautiful bill. Elon's like, wait a minute now. If we're truly trying to save the taxpayers, another thing is this too. We have to remember, Elon became the villain. Trump is already the villain. Trump, his companies, they kind of did what they were going to do the first time he ran. But Elon became the villain. He's, in all of these departments in the feds, he's cutting all these jobs and getting rid of all these departments and all this other stuff. So he became the symbol of, he's doing this to us. But with that, Elon did have something to lose, right? He's got a Tesla company and a whole host of other things. And the people that drive his cars, and we've talked about this before, the Democrats is like, it's a liberal car. Let's keep it a buck. Electric cars is a liberal car. And they're like, oh, hell no. You doing that kind of stuff, we're not going to buy. And so we saw him lose billions and billions and billions of dollars because he's in there with his, y'all saw him at one of the Trump rallies with his chainsaw. He's going to go slashing everything. He became the fall guy. So if I'm not Elon, but I'm thinking, and I'm not an Elon fan like that, so don't get it twisted, but I just like to be a little bit on the rational side. If I'm Elon, I'm like, yo, I went in there because I thought we were fighting the fraud. I thought we was getting rid of, and here you come with this big, beautiful bill, and you're blowing up the budget, and, you're making your homies rich. Now, the homie would also include Elon, which is why I said we got to think too, because if indeed this bill is a cut or a tax break for billionaires, why would Elon blow up the spot? Hell, he's the richest man in the world. That would definitely help him. So I agree with a lot of y'all. I think there's more to it than, oh, he's just mad over the bill. I think he's seen and heard some things, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm the one that paid the price. Trump, you didn't pay the price, and you have gained from being my friend. I've lost from being your friend. And I'm going to get into the comments.
Right. And Rook, I want to add to that. And do you guys see the sleight of hand that happens? Isn't that what happens to black people when it comes to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party? Oh, we're going to give the black women millions of dollars to get them to do this. And the money never comes. or they divert the money to something else that's more important. Asians are getting beat up by black people, so we got to help the Asians out. Do you guys see the same playbook over and over again? So Elon cut all of this money, right, to save the taxpayer, and then the big, beautiful bill comes out where all of that money is going to be benefiting the oligarchs. Do you see how that works? And all the people that voted, yeah, tax cuts, yeah, we're going to do, all the rednecks and the anti-black folks were like, yeah, and the money is going to the oligarchs. This is the sleight of hand of political theater. You guys, it's the same playbook over and over again. It's like in football, you guys, if you guys follow football, you're going to run the same play until they can stop it. Makes sense, right? If they're not stopping it, you keep running the same play, getting those touchdowns. And that's how politics works.
Absolutely. SLG, how you doing? It says Elon's businesses are IPO. Exactly. It says therefore owned by shareholders. So yeah, there is no taking it. You just people just be saying stuff, and I hate to say it, but people, yeah, they be saying stuff. And Maya sisters, how you doing? It says word on the street, Tesla is financially dead without vouchers. Financial analysts believe Musk has done irreversible reputational harm to Tesla. Oh, absolutely, he did, right? There's some people who will go back, and some people will hail him as, okay, he's a hero now because he's finally saying the things that we've been saying, right? But then there's some is like, nah, man, you did too much. Okay, you done went too far. So I agree with that. I think, and I'm in reputation management as a PR specialist. And once you F up your reputation, it's hard to get it back to where it was, right? And I think for Elon, he's probably like, man, and I see we got somebody from South Africa. How you doing? Batho Kagel, and I hope I said that right. But other thing is, you know, Trump was supposed to be bringing all these Afrikaners over here because they're being, you know, taken out on their farms and all this genocide. He brought, what, 50 of them over here. Elon is probably like, nah, they ain't giving what it was supposed to give, homie. You're supposed to be bringing everybody over here, this, you know, this white flight, if you will, from South Africa, and or going over there and getting Ramaphosa together and definitely dealing with Malema. You're supposed to be doing all that, and you brought 50 people, and they don't even sound like you brought 50 top of the top over here. It's one, you know, Afrikaner, his wife in Virginia not too long ago. So it's like, they don't sound like, I don't know, Elon is probably like, yeah, you do. What did I gain from being here? You know?
Yeah, and check this out, you guys. For you guys that don't know, Julius Malema is Dimitri's intellectual crush. And when we were over there, that's when he was doing "Kill the Board," and he had his little socks on, and Dimitri was right in the pack, dancing with the whole clique.
Yeah, that's my intellectual crush. Not Elon Malema. He's got heart. He got a heart of a warrior. I really wish they would elect him in so he could do what he needs to do. Herschel, how you doing? Says, could you imagine watching this unfold after he got fired because of Doge? Yeah, you know, and Doge actually have to bring some people back because they just slashed too much, right? He caused a lot of people hardship. Now, I do believe that there was some waste that needed to be dealt with, but it's like, yeah, Elon was the fall guy for that, you know, and don't ever underestimate Trump. He's very smart, but I really hope he wasn't doing a whole lot of pillow talking. That I will say. Taz, he says, Elon was just trying to get into the office. Well, he was in there, right? Was he trying to be president? I don't think Elon was trying to be president. I learned this. Seek politics for power, prestige, and money. He's got all of that. Who would want the headache of being the president of the United States when you surpass that financially and all kind of thing? I mean, hell, he was powerful. Check this out. Anybody that says Elon doesn't have any power, he was powerful enough to get into the White House and create a department and head that with no political experience at all as an immigrant. He's South African. That's the kind of power that he had.
And no oversight. You can't create a department without passing it in law through Congress. You just don't just make something up. It has to go through Congress, oversight. He just created it just like that.
Yeah, and Sean, how you doing? It says it's about the EV thing. Trump did not That you mean approve it? Well, he did approve it when he was president the first time. Biden approved it too. So it's not like Elon, and this is why we really got to really decipher information. So it's not like Elon went in there, and again, I'm not an Elon fan, but I just want to speak to the facts. It's not like he went in there expecting Trump to give him contracts and all that. Trump gave it. In fact, Trump gave it to him. That's how he ended up with it during Trump's first term. So it's not like something he didn't have, or like Biden just gave him all this, that, and the other. Like Trump said, oh, I'm surprised Biden didn't take it from him. It's like, well, you gave it to him. What are you talking about, right? So he's got the contracts now. Will they renege on him? And then, of course, Trump says that Elon was mad because they won't mandate people get the electrical vehicles. Well, people are going to get the cars whether they are mandated or not, So I don't know.
Yeah, and if they do cancel the contracts, that would significantly hurt our military industrial complex, because a lot of Elon's technology is embedded in the defense industry. So again, he is our only space availability. That's how we get into space, in and out of space. So it's all talk. It's beating your chest, but it's all talk.
Yep. And let's see here. Asia, he says Elon got a black eye from the Trump team member. He big mad. That's what we heard. How true it is, we don't know. That he got into some fisticuffs with, I heard Stephen Miller, but nobody, I guess, really knows, right? Seymour says, yes, ma'am.
Stephen Miller? That guy's fruity as a cootie.
I don't know. They say he married and somebody's wife. I don't know. I thought the same thing. I thought he was too, but apparently he's changed his ways. I don't know.
Well, he's got a beard. That's all.
That most of them do. Let's keep it a buck. Most of them in Washington have a beard, Anyway, Simo says, yes, ma'am. Well spoken. Elon was played like everyone in Trump's circle, and history has shown this before. Yeah, and even Trump says people often leave here and they're mad and they fall out and they get to talking and stuff. So he admitted this is nothing new. He doesn't keep good relationships with people, right? Omarosa literally got thrown out of the White House, like for real, and then of course she talked about she had us iPhone sitting on the table and she was recording things, but you notice how nothing really ever came out of that, because I'm sure she got that. What you say you was doing with your iPhone? Oh, nothing. Because we never heard nothing else. Omarosa went. I think she went up to be on Big Brother in the UK or something. She didn't change her ways. Caprice says they're trying to get us looking one way while they do something else. Pay attention. I will sign off on that. However, 2, 3, 4 things could be true at once, right? It might be a distraction, but I think if you kind of read the tea leaves and follow the breadcrumbs, you can see where Elon got kicked in the keister and he's not going to be quiet about it anymore, Brother Samuel, he says, do you think some of the clash between Elon and Trump has to do with the disaster from the false information with South African president seems to have Elon's hand in it? It could be. Of course, we saw Trump hold up a picture that was of a different, I think it was Sudan, if I'm not mistaken, or Congo, I think it was, talking about this was a genocide in South Africa. So it could have something to do with it. I think that it does. Of course, we'll probably really never know. As Edgy says, Trump got in office to make money, recently received a plane. Come on now. A plane from Qatar. Asked the South African president if he also had a plane for him at the end of the term. Trump might have a complete fleet. You ain't lying. He definitely taking them with him, right? Let's see here. Who else is on here that I did not see? And then I get back to everybody's comments. Hey, Brother Reggie, how you doing? Says someone come get this damn toy electric car off my lawn. Donald Trump. Right. Remember when Elon showed up and said, here, you can pick whatever you want, Brother Damon, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. And Buckhorse, what's going on with you? Let's see. Maya says, did you hear Ramaswamy's name was posted as Musk replacement for Doge? Thank goodness MAGA stopped it. Ramaswamy is irritating. Yeah, well, Ramaswamy is trying to run for the governor of Ohio. He had to change of heart after he got froggy on X talking about Americans are lazy and stupid and all that other stuff. And we ain't really heard much from him. In fact, I saw he did a tuck tail and run when he was telling MAGA, okay, that's enough of blaming DEI for everything. There are other people outside of white people that are, just, they have the juice too, right? So I don't know. I doubt it. Daddy's gonna go in there. Brother Joe Nayo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hey, that rhymed, huh? Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? It says peace and love, family. Don't miss the forest for the trees. Elon may realize Trump is going to screw him over by importing Chinese EV cars. Tesla is finished if he does that. Yeah, and he's supposed to be meeting with somebody from China over the tariffs and things like that. And Elon also tweeted that the tariffs is going to see the United States in a recession in the next couple of months. Now, a lot of other people have said that as well, although we know that Trump backed off of the tariffs for, I think, 90 days, and that was like a month ago or so. China, they lowered their tariffs or whatever the case is, but it all still remains to be seen. Brother David says, miss me on the BS food lines are California block long food banks. She says, ish is real in these streets. Oh, yes. Listen, the food banks are long everywhere. That was not too long ago. I was around here driving somewhere and I saw I didn't know what it was until we asked somebody, like, well, what's going on? What are they waiting for? They said it's a food bank line. And let me tell you something about this food bank line. Okay. When you think about people in the line for food bank, you think they driving a bucket, it's broken down, it's smoking, and they got the windows won't roll up. Nah, I saw Mercedes, I saw Teslas,
same thing.
I saw all types of cars that was in this line, and I said, when you see that, that is very telling.
And you know what's crazy about it? When the food banks run out of food. A lot of them are getting overwhelmed to where they do not have enough resources to serve the communities.
Yes, and they are running out of food. I mean, where do you get the food from if now everybody is starting to need the food, right? And I always say this too. It's an issue when you see a lot more people, not that there's anything necessarily wrong with buying food from Walmart or even a dollar store, but when you see more people in there, you don't see as many people. And I go to Sprouts sometimes and I'll see sometimes like Whole Food Sprouts, around there. Sometimes the vegetables are starting to wilt because it's like people are in Walmart trying, getting the vegetables because it's higher at, the Sprouts and the Whole Foods and things like that. So you're starting to see a lot of people start to come down a little bit. Like, you know what? I'm not above getting my groceries from Walmart. But when you had it like that, you were. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like too much, a lot of produce at Walmart because it's not as good quality as the other places. But yeah, you're starting to see more people do that because it's not about, quality. It's about quantity at this point.
Yes. And what we got to start doing as a people, like a lot of people do, start planting your own seeds in your backyard, and you can get those above ground planters and start, growing your own fruits and vegetables. I mean, right now I got a tree that's about to break full of apples, ready to go. Well, it's not ready yet, but it's about to break. And we got to get back to doing for self. We just have to, because the government and what's happening out there, it's unsustainable when we don't have the money.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so unpredictable. You got Trump and Elon fighting. You got the tariffs. It's just the economy really is all over the place. But people have to get back to that homesteading and doing, like you said, doing for self. If learning how to bake bread and all that other stuff, like our ancestors used to do. As Eddie says, Trump called African countries ish-holes countries and is the first to rush to get ish-hole natural resources. I thought he was married heterosexual. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Stephen Miller was also a little bit on, twinkle toes. Lady Diana, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else is here? And Brother Don, how you doing? Let's see. Super Patriot says, from the 80s, I'm old school. You and me both. Gregory, how you doing? Yep, shop around. Yeah, but my mom made a good point one time. I used to be like that. Like, I'm going to go find the cheapest gas. She says, by the time you find it, you're going to spend money out running your gas out. And I said, you know what? She right. So I stopped doing that as much, But yeah, you should shop around for the best price or whatever. Just learn. I'm one of those people. If I shop, I'm always probably going to take something out of the basket because I'm like, I don't need that, So think about what you actually need versus what you want. It's okay to have some of the stuff you want as far as when it comes to food, but food is high now. So
yeah, but you know what's crazy, Demetra? Everybody's got a smartphone, and nobody uses the smartphone other than to look at TikTok and to look at themselves. You want to find the cheapest gas? You don't have to drive around all over the place anymore. You go to the app and you find the cheapest gas, and if that's what you want to do to drive to it, you go to it. But it amazes me at how we have these smartphones and people just will not use it. What was the Google when we were growing up, Demetria, if we were in school?
A library.
Exactly. You had to go to the library, and most likely it was a Saturday because your term paper was due at Monday morning, and you were in that library and the index cards going through it to find the book, and so many things. But we got smartphones now, and people just are not utilizing the technology. Yes, technology is scary, but at the same time, it's there to make life easier if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and I mean, I have a Sam's Club membership, so gas is a little cheaper there. And I'll be honest with you, I have to put gas in my car once a month, maybe once every month and a half, because I don't drive my car. I don't drive it much, so I don't spend that. I don't even know what gas prices here are. I know I was in California last week, and I was like, the devil is a lie, and I mean a whole lie. Because it was upwards of almost $5 a gallon. I'm like, ooh, I see why y'all mugs is running around here with a quarter of a tank of gas.
Right. And you want to know something? That way, a quarter of a tank of gas, and tags expired everywhere. Everybody's tags are expired.
Because it's high.
Yeah. And think about this, you guys. For those guys who don't live in California, they're going to close down 2 refineries, which is going to make the gas prices go even higher. You got to have money to live here. That's why you don't see no black folks. Demetria, how many black folks did you see other than myself when you were here?
Not many. Besides my family. I saw some here and there, but not many at all. Yeah, black people are I didn't see that many white people either, to be honest with you. I saw a lot of brown people, but yeah. And I was at the what they call the Ontario Mills. I got younger nieces and nephews, and it's like, what you about to buy me, Tia? So I was at the Ontario Mills, and I saw mostly brown people there. Mr. 619, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And let's see, Wild Williams, what's going on with you? Long time no see. As Edgy, you said, where'd it go? You said 6 times meals a day to 1 meal a day is a Doge recommendation. Cutting costs by all means. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people feel like maybe they need to eat 6 times a day. I don't have the time to do it. I'll eat once a day, maybe like a snack or something around there, but I don't have the time to eat twice a day. I wish I did. Damon says smartphones make some people stupid. I totally agree with you. People use smartphones for everything, even with Chat GPT. Even when I'm on X, I see people asking Grok. I think that's how you say it. Grok, can you break this down? I'm like, are you an idiot? You're going to be robbed of all of your thought process. And I'm like, I read that and it wasn't hard to ascertain. Remember, we had to do reading comprehension in school. That was actually part of the state testing, reading comprehension. That's how they knew what grade level he was reading at, But I'm like, you need a computer to make it more layman for you. You are a special idiot. And I say that in love.
I'd like to make a special announcement to the fellas that are still here in California. And, it's not just California, but it's across the globe. We as citizens are being squeezed so badly that, fellas, these women are going to be out here selling themselves for $20 and when the tariffs hit. So just hold your money and get ready. $20.
Hey, boo-boo, if there's tariffs on apples, there's tariffs on, okay? If tariffs is 125% on grapes,
delusion. That's for import, not domestic.
I tell you what, if you don't pay these tariffs, you ain't importing nothing nowhere. Okay? Fast Enough Phyllis says, I already spoke to 2 beautiful sisters about tying the knot. Come on now. You says no government contract when U.S. economy crumbles. I'll provide their security and resources. They provide a good, loyal home and keep me happy. You know what? I love that for you. I really love that for you. If they're with it, I'm with it too. Damon says, along with gas tax increase in California. Yeah, I remember when that happened. What is it? Is it still 12%? on top of the gas, and that's 12 cents a gallon, not percent, 12 cents a gallon.
Yeah, they're going back up again. Another reason why, for all you bleeding heart liberals out there, another reason why in California the gas tax is going up is because of the illegal migrants that we could not afford to pay for. So now we are paying for them one way or the other. We have to pay for it.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna be crying. Guess what? If don't nothing else sell, tail gonna sell. Okay, you could believe that. It could be the end of the earth. Y'all can have 2 shekels in your pocket, and you gonna try to spend 3. Okay, so don't you lie to kick it. That's what.
Yes, that economics, that the supply is going to be saturated.
And guess what? And we gonna take all. When I say we, I mean them. I ain't in that. Okay, take all your money. And listen. It's been around since the beginning of time, and it's going to be around toward the end. And you suckers are going to pay the price, okay? Y'all going to pay the price. So don't be saying, oh, I can get 2 for 3. No, you're not, okay? You're not. Because them ladies got bills to pay too, sucker. They're talking about they going to be crying. Y'all going to be crying. I gave her all my money. Let me go find some more so I can do it again. Let's see here. Lady Diana says, I eat once a day and cook at home every day. I shop for groceries every 2 weeks for basic needs. Gas purchase about every 3 months. Everything is too expensive nowadays. Yeah, see, you like me. You don't drive. I actually need to drive my car before I leave because I don't want the battery to die again. I killed a whole new battery by not driving a doggone car. So I might drive it today just to go around the block or 2. I don't know.
Do you have a battery charger at home where you could keep the battery?
I do. But it had died. So it was so bad that where it's like, man, don't do this no more. They gave me a replacement or whatever because I have the warranty, but they're like, don't do this no more. I'm like, do what? Let's see here. Star Jammer says America is being dumbed down. Yeah, and it's going right along with it. And Sherry says Cassie was making $250,000 off of each freak off, right? And they talking about it. Say, they'll pay it. They will pay. Fast Enough Phillips says the tariff on tail will end when civil unrest begins. And what that mean? What does that mean? Break it on down.
A serious question for you guys. Seriously, with everything that's going on, you got the weed out here, you got alcohol out here, things that could be abused. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it could be abused. And some people could be warped. The drugs they're bringing in and stuff like that. Prices are going up so much. You got a lot of single mothers out here. And this is a serious question. I just want you guys' opinion on this. How long do you think it's going to be before they legalize prostitution so that, these women and men could make money as adults and it's legalized and there's taxing to it? I don't think we're too far off. If they keep raising the prices on people, it will not be long before they, no matter of fact, there was a bill in Montana or someplace like that where they were thinking of legalizing prostitution in that state. I got to look it up. Don't take my word for it.
I mean, yeah, but with that, listen, it's outlawed in a lot of states or whatever, Nevada, depending on where you are, but it ain't gonna never go nowhere. Okay, it's never. As long as there's a seller, there'll always be a buyer. As long as they're a buyer, there'll always be a seller. You know what I mean? It's all the thing. And I heard it best this way. Somebody said, even women in relation or that are married, they selling to some degree. Yes, honey. Did you like that time that we had last night? You did? Oh, we do need a new washer and dryer around here. Mama do need some new shoes. Don't worry, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So that's still a sort of, the minute the wife says, I don't think so. No. Then he gonna start saying, well, I don't know what to tell you about them holes in your shoes. You know what I mean? So that relationship is always there. It just depends on to what degree, right? Preferably when you're married, but it's a give and get. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. Ooh, I'm hot. Facts I Feel says, when civil unrest and economy goes down, women will want security and protection. Men have the upper hand to take two women for wives and take care of home while you provide security resources. Yeah, that's true. But I'm gonna be quiet because I'm gonna get in trouble. It sounds good on paper, okay? But I don't personally know of any man that will take on two wives financially, okay? Pay all her bills, and while she's at the house and she's cooking, I don't know no man who, for one, could do that. Where he gonna get the money from? If she is running out of money, where he getting the money from? Is there gonna be a surplus of money for him? And while the well dries up for her? So I'm trying to make sense of it.
Well, think about it this way, fellas. One chick will break you. When I hear these guys talk about, multiple women and side chicks, I'm like, that's a recipe for financial disaster. We can barely keep up with one.
I mean, I'm just saying, like I said, it sounds good on paper, like y'all. Something tells me that 50% conversation, you still going to work, ain't you? Yeah, you can move in with me, but I need you to pay half the bills. Look how hot it is here. My air conditioner just came on, but my God, it is hot up in here. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you can do that, fellas, more power. And I believe there are some women. There's women doing it now. It's like, if I can't beat him, might as well join him. He gonna cheat. I might as well just willingly go along. Like I said, I would do it. You have fun with the young girls. I'll be the house manager, right? Y'all make sure his dinner and breakfast and all that is together. I'm paying all the bills, but I need to have my own. You pay for everything, my car, my house, my clothing allowance. Oh yeah, I do. I'll be that woman in a relationship, but no, you ain't getting no goodies.
Yeah, I just think with them legalizing weed and stuff like that, things that were taboo, if weed isn't a narcotic anymore, a case one narcotic, and it's natural from the earth, and sex is natural from the earth, and it's a natural urge. I said it when it was legalized years ago, the weed was legalized. It won't be long before the prostitution will be legalized because, number one, it takes the criminal element out of it. Two grown adults, and they're already kind of talking about it right now. It's called sex work, right? Somebody said it in the chat that they already, it's kind of already legalized in sex work. And overseas, it's sex work. I don't care if you're OnlyFans, if you're a stripper, if you're, indulging in anything where you're making money off of your body, ladies. If you're taking just general pictures, it's considered sex work. So they're already kind of on that road. But what I'm seeing from the way we are being pressured with financial situations, it will not be long before they will be setting up red light districts because more and more women, especially here in California, and Black women here in California and across the nation are being homeless with their children. The nonprofits, they've stopped the money laundering. Doge and all these people have stopped the flow of the money. And now we are seeing uncovered what is actually going on with all of this stuff.
Yep. And Mike Nice, she says the thing would be, how would they tax prostitution? I totally agree with you. And the other thing is, I always say too, because I've had this conversation a bunch with people, who's going to be quality control? John says that was the worst pizza I ever got. Who's going to, where's the customer service? How do you regulate that? You know what I mean?
I already got an answer for you. They're already doing it in Germany. They're doing it in Amsterdam. You're doing it in the Western world. So it's been set up for years. So for us to sit up here and say, how are they going to do it? Whatever. It's already been established. So we just got to follow that model. Problem solved. They're getting taxes from it. The girls are safe. They're getting their health checks, so on, so forth.
I don't know too much about it, as that's not my expertise like that. Facts Not Feeling says the minute pros prostitution are legalized across the country, the women telling men to pay for nails and hair, then ghosting them after dinner will be a thing of the past. dating as we know it will be over. Well, the other thing too is not every man want to be with no prostitute, you know, so I don't think any of that is ever going to be over. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. There's always going to be a man out there paying for wigs and weaves and nails and dinners and all that. That's never going away. I know some people, y'all have been burnt or whatever the case is, but there's a sucker born every minute. That's why you need to ask questions. Stop taking these women out and paying for their hair and nails. If that ain't your woman, if it's your woman, and I've said this a million times, listen, I'm not speaking from a point of I'm perfect, right? But if that ain't your woman, stop spending money on her hair. She needs to already come to the table with her hair and her nails already done, with you looking like a booger bear before we get together. If you cannot at least upkeep yourself, and that don't mean you need to go spend $200-300 on your nails. You could get a nail file and get you some nail polish, sister, and paint your nails, comb your hair yourself. Go on YouTube if you don't know how to do that. But why? If I'm a man, I'm gonna be like, you ain't my woman. Why I got to pay for all that? You ain't paying for my maintenance. See, some of y'all so desperate for some kitty cat. Y'all, okay, I'll pay for it. Listen, if a woman like you, you ain't got to buy all of that for her. If a woman saying I just want to show up cute for you, well, you better take your ass to Ross for less or whatever you need to do. But I'm not gonna pay for it. See, that God knew not to make me no man. He already knew, right? You find out after the second, third date, drinking coffee or maybe going to the park where a lot of people, okay? Because we don't want to come up missing, God forbid. But you have these conversations with her. Get to know where she's going and stop looking at her booty, okay? Look at her mind, not her behind, and then you won't be getting, kicked in your wallet for wigs and weaves and nails and dresses, and then she got, getting a doggy bag on your dime, and then you try to text this helper back and you blocked. That's on you. And that's why I said that ain't never going nowhere.
Right. Well, the question in the chat, Demetra, is what were you doing in the Seychelles with all the rich people and the founder of Blackwater and all the movers and shakers? What were you doing there?
Standing there watching at the lobsters on the beach. That's what I was doing. Yes, JJ, Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen, it's never going anywhere. I hate to be so out with it, but come on. The Facts I Feel says they're doing it in Vegas. Yeah, somewhere. They're not. It's not necessarily Vegas. They're kind of going off to the offskirts. You know what I mean? They'll give you the cards or whatever on the strip, but they're like, yeah, you got to travel for that.
Yeah, in Vegas, it's illegal. Vegas is illegal. A lot of people have this imagination that it's legal in Vegas. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about the block out here in Houston, as I'm a Cali girl. You know what I mean? I've heard about the block. I don't even know much about the block in California where I'm from. I know where it is, though, but I ain't ever been on there myself. I'm trying to think. I ain't know nobody who been on it. I've known ladies who have, they was dealing with the ballers and the ballers was dealing with them, but I don't know no block, not like that. Reese, how you doing? It says suggestion boxes. I mean, for next time you need to wash your cat, okay? It was a little ripe. I don't know.
No, and again, because a lot of us Americans especially those of us that didn't join the military and stationed overseas, we are very ignorant in how we do it. And it's very hypocritical. We have a $16 billion porn industry. I want you guys to think about this. $16 billion porn industry regulated by the mafia and the illegal elements. It is legal to take your clothes off and have sex on camera, but it's illegal for two grown adults to do a transaction in private. So the system is set up. It's just the idea of people are already doing it, collecting the taxes on it. It's already been set up. There's it's called a red light district. You're in that area. The girls have to go through the government. It's not that hard at all.
Yeah, Frank, and stop dealing with broke women who need that level of support. Problem solved. Rip the simp. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like I said, I ain't no man, but I see how some of these men move, and it's like, what you whining for? Why are you complaining? You didn't even get to know this woman. You spent all this money and you mad? Hell, I don't even know why you mad. You mad because you didn't ask 2 or 3 questions You allowed a woman you didn't know to get you to send her cash app so she could get all this stuff done to her. It's like, damn, baby, you must be ugly if you need me to spend $200, $300, $400 for your hair and your nails. I know I'm not gonna do that. And if she get mad, then you get the next sucker on the way in. But it ain't gonna be me.
Yeah, but if you think about it, a lot of these young men today not having man qualities, real man qualities. They have a female perspective of it to where, they're more emotional and they think, oh, they're really simp. This is where the simp culture came from. The simp culture is these guys that are raised mostly raised by women that just have this, it's a female element of how they buy things and they want to do things, Ain't no way. Did you guys see that video on YouTube that came out a couple of days ago about that guy that spent like $800 on that chick? And it's what dude in their right mind is going to pay $800 for dinner? It's insanity.
I'm gonna address something you said, and in fact, not feelings. I'm gonna put on my teacher's hat today. Okay, Facts Not Feelings says some men want to be with a woman on a real date, but I should not have to pay all this money to enjoy the company of a woman out of town. Did she make you do it? Did she force you to dig off in your pocket and spend all that kind of money? I don't care if you're meeting that heifer on the moon. Nobody said you got to spend all that kind of money. A real date don't mean a whole lot of money. That's not what a real date means. A date is if I want to treat you to something, it ain't got to cost me my mortgage or whatever the case is. But if we're dating means we're going to date with a purpose, right? I'm getting to know you. It's not, I'm just out here, we just drinking and eating and I don't know nothing about you. I'm hoping that I get that, I get the legs under the table as we eating the legs on top. Nah, that's not what that means. You could, listen, y'all, y'all talk about women control, certain aspects of the relationship. Y'all do too. There's nobody forcing you to spend money on no woman, especially one that's not yours. And Donovan, you said, for lack of better words, simp culture is taught to men by women, their moms. That's a goddamn lie. Excuse my French. I know that was a little strong for some of y'all that go to church. I don't. Maybe I need to. But anyway, men did not learn the simp culture from their mama. They learned it from their daddies, who is probably a simp. Y'all supposed to get the game from your daddy. Y'all supposed to get the game from the men that's in the barbershop somewhere. Uncle Charlie, Mr. Joe. Somebody's supposed. Listen, I'm a woman. I started working at Frito-Lay when I was like 23 years old. And no lie, I worked with a man who used to be a real pimp. So in the department that I was in, I worked around nothing but men. And I got the game. And unfortunately, through some of my relationships, I ain't really listened. But I got the game. So the point is, as a woman, I'm getting the game. Y'all supposed to be getting the game from men. And what does your mama know? Your mama is probably getting a simp coming over there, paying the bills or whatever the case is. It's not her job as a woman to teach you how to be a man. Go hang around your daddies, your uncles, your grandpas, or the dude, somebody. But don't blame that on women because men are simps.
So if the child is not exposed to real men, where is he supposed to get this game? If he's not exposed to real men, and he's only exposed to simps. And he's only exposed to simps.
Okay.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. But if he's only exposed to simps, he's going to have a simp mentality.
Nah, I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it because you ain't going to be around your mama your whole life. You're not going to be around your mama your whole life, whether you in school, everybody got a teacher or somebody somewhere, where it's the Boy Scouts, it's the church, somebody giving you game when you grow up and you leave your mama house. You ain't around no men. You ain't around no men that saying, hey, partner, all that you doing, that ain't how men behave. So I get what you saying, but we cannot, because if your mama is not exposing you to any men, unless your daddy died, where the hell your daddy at? He ain't coming around to fight to teach his son how to be a man?
Well, the fact of the matter is, in the world that we live in today, on this planet, in this universe, this is what's happening in the real world. I think we both agree on what's happening, but the simple fact is these single mothers are not letting, I'm not even going to say letting. These single mothers are not exposing their boys to positive men, because when I was in the military, and a lot of us, you guys that are in the military or have been in the military, you guys notice that you see these young kids that have female traits. Back in the day, Demetria, when we were in school and a boy was getting yelled at by the coach or getting cussed out by the coach or the teacher told him to sit down, whatever, that was normal. It was no big. We didn't get all sensitive and you talking to me, my mama. No, we did. That's what boys did. You got in trouble, you got talked to. It's no big deal. But that isn't the case today because a lot of these young men are not being exposed to real men, and that's why we have this simp culture, because it didn't happen 30 years ago. There was no such thing. I never heard of the word simp until in recent times.
Simp is a really old word. Simp is
well, remember, I'm telling you my experience. I never heard it until recently.
The word simping has been around for a very long time. Big Rich, how you doing? Says single mothers raise their sons to be the man they wish they had. That's not all that in some cases, yeah. But again, I'm gonna need y'all as men to see. This is why, for me as a woman, a grown woman, and I'm not saying anything by anybody specifically, so please, do not mistake me in that. As a woman, it's nails to a chalkboard to me to hear a man keep blaming women for the way men behave. At what point do you bring in the conversations of their dads or any man? When does that happen? No man, and I'm not a man, but I know men. No man is going to keep blaming women for the way men behave. Does a woman have something to do with it? Yes. She is the first teacher. She is the circle of influence. But to put all the blame on that woman, hell to the no. Y'all men got to really stop doing that, because what it says is I'm shirking all responsibility for the way men behave. Now, I'm a woman. I've been with men and I've been around men that have not had their daddies in their life, and it's obvious. It is obvious that they needed a good male role model to some degree in their life, and they did not have that, which is why, and I hear men say this all the time, men don't get with a woman that ain't got her daddy in their life. I'm saying the same thing to women. Don't get with a man that does not have any male role influence in his life, because he's going to act like a bitch, and he's going to run around blaming women for every damn thing that happens in his life and men that he don't know on the internet's life. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Arneba, you say I didn't lead with my wallet with my late wife, and she was the best woman I ever had. Yeah, stop doing that. Oh yeah, you put your bait in the water with your hook. That fish is gonna bite it. Just like a woman that's got bad intentions. Now, if you're a woman like me, I'm like, nah, partner, I don't want your money because I don't want you. I'm honest like that. But there's some women like that. Some women even bend over for 2 minutes to get your money. Right? So stop putting your wallet out there if you don't want to be a sucker. You won't get licked.
Yeah, a real man that doesn't lead with his wallet. That's one thing I was taught by my mama. You don't lead with your wallet.
Yeah, I mean, hell, shoot. She like, he giving it to me. I've had men offer to take me to the mall. I'm like, for what? You ain't my man. Because the minute I go buy something, you're going to be wanting me to give you something, and we ain't on that page. So no, I could buy my own clothes. Thank you. That is a wonderful gesture, but I could buy my own clothes. Now if you become my man, that's a different story. Brother Ray says, on the road now, family. Catch y'all next week. Be safe. Mad Dog, how you doing? And thank you for asking everybody to hit the like button on your way out. Let's see who else is here. I want to give everybody equal time. Sunlight says, Demetria K, is much easier to blame women. No accountability is what it's called when women choose poorly and make bad decisions. Not for men, though. Make it make sense. I totally agree with you.
It's on both sides. Men make bad decisions and women make bad decisions. Like I said, it doesn't make sense in the modern age why children are being brought into this world by either parent and the child is not really wanted or planned for. Makes no sense.
Yeah, Arnie, but Simps didn't get the game from their fathers. And I'm not necessarily talking about like running game on women, but just how to be men. That's why I really hate that Kevin Samuels died. I really do. Because Kevin Samuels, you dusty. I'm rare for him today, but I'm gonna be cool. Y'all wasn't listening to Kevin Samuels when he was telling y'all to wash y'all asses. He literally was telling y'all to wash y'all behinds. Y'all wasn't listening to Kevin Samuels. But the minute he started taking women, and specifically black women, to task, oh yeah, winter's coming and all this other stuff, he wasn't talking to women first. And like he said, I'm telling y'all the stuff y'all granddaddies, y'all daddies should have taught. Y'all shouldn't even have to be telling y'all this stuff. This stuff shouldn't even be revolutionary to you as men. Y'all should know what kind of cologne to put on to take a bath every day and how to put your clothes. I shouldn't have to be telling y'all that, but there was a need for that. That's why I'm sad that he's not here, because he was really waking men up and to being citizens. Me and my homegirl, we talk about that. So we like men to be citizens, look like citizens. Your hair is combed and nice, however you wear it. You smell good, you groom, you put on some clothes. If we going out, not these gym shorts and these tennis shoes, and I put on some hard bottom shoes, you know? That's what we like as grown women, but that's what Kevin Samuels was telling you. And he was even talking to the women. Stop wearing tennis shoes on dates. Put on some heels and all. Like, at some point, y'all got to start saying, fathers, you need to come. Not that fathers are absent. I want to go out there with that, but fathers got to start coming into the fold and really fathering your sons again.
Well, I want to add to that, because I don't think we're on a different page with each other. I think we're just coming at it at a different angle. Ladies, you got the kids, right? In most cases, the relationship didn't work out. Who cares about the relationship? You got your son in Walmart with you. You got your bonnet on. He got pajamas. Or if he's got some pants on, you're allowing him to walk around with his pants down by his damn knees. Get him a belt and correct him. You know, but you want to know what's crazy about all that, though, Demetra? And again, and the men too. I see women beautiful. You guys go out, you guys are dressed, the sisters are dressed, and the brothers got on some sneakers, some Dickies, and a t-shirt. And I'm like, how does this work? You know, we got to do better, especially the fathers. I'm with you on the fathers. I'm not saying that my son didn't sag in school, whatever, when he was doing that with his little buddies. But my son was smart enough to know I'm not going to sag to where my dad's going to find out. Because if I found out, it was a foot in his ass. It was as simple as that. No questions asked. So we got to do better in our presentation. They're talking about that statue in New York, and it's rumored they're making a male statue, black male statue to put in New York, and he's supposed to be Nook Nook to go with the female statue. That's what the rumor is. That's what I know there's no truth to that, but again, our presentation, you guys, that's where it starts. If you don't feel like $1 million, if you don't dress like $1 million, you don't feel like $1 million, right? Everybody, remember you went to the prom or something, you got dressed up, you felt like you had money, you were just now it's just a regular thing. So we have to do better. And fathers, again, like Demetra always says, don't let no woman keep you from your children. You're the father. You go in there and do what you got to do. If you got to go to court and take this and go through the system, you just do it. But the fact of the matter is, get involved with your children.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. I'm 54 years old, okay? If a man is coming out the house sagging, we not going nowhere. It's not my job, honestly, to tell a grown man to pull his pants on to his butt. That's not my job. And I would not want that job. I feel like if you are uncivilized enough to come out on a date with me or anywhere, we going to Walmart with your pants not pulled up, then we're not going anywhere. It's just that simple. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who will take you with your sagging pants. She just ain't me, you know? Yeah, it's my job to teach my nephews and my sons, but a man that I'm supposed to be dating, if that's how remedial you are, I can't fool with you, because I can even imagine the rest of the conversation. And let's see, somebody else said, I'm trying to remember all the comments. Somebody says, oh, women should stop asking men for money and men should stop giving it to her. My mom used to always say, nothing beats a fail but a try. If she asks you for some money and you dumb enough to give it to her, if that ain't your woman, then whose fault is that? Is it her fault for asking, or is it your fault for giving it to her? So again, that y'all got some control. Men are supposed to be in control. Men ain't supposed to say, oh, well, you know, a woman did this or that. Listen, my daddy, 81 years old. I ain't never heard him concede defeat to no woman walking, buried, and none of that. Never heard my daddy say, a woman won't let me. A woman did that, the other. And he also said, hell, ain't no romance without the finance. Most men know they going to have to pay something something. I'm not saying you got to go and spend your whole paycheck. You want to buy an ice cream cone or whatever the case is. And I saw your other comment about the woman, you know, you took her out to dinner or whatever. I hope it was a bologna sandwich. If you took her to Maestro's and she dipped on you, whose fault was that?
Yeah, if women stop asking for money, that would mess up the whole system. Then we would have to stop asking for pee.
Nah, I mean, that's a women gonna ask you for money. That's what women do. Men got the money,
and then ask for pee. That's what we do. I mean, it'd be a
but you know, I would find out if that's the type of man I'm dealing with first. You know, you feel like you got to help me and I got to help you into my bed, then nah. You know, unless if we on that page or whatever the case is, and even if you take me out to dinner, you are not entitled to what's under the table, homie. You entitled to my good conversation, me looking good, me smelling good. That's what you entitled to. Now, if I want to go further with you, that's my decision. Not because you bought me some funky chicken legs. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. In fact, I feel it says fathers will come back into the fold when women stop using the legal system to attack their men. Nah, you should go back into the fold regardless. Use the legal system back on her. Y'all, what are you a man? Are you a mouse?
Wasn't the legal system set up by men?
It was set up by men. But what are you gonna tuck your tail and run because she put the law on you? Put the law back on her ass. That's what you do. But again, in facts and feelings, I'm not saying it's about you, but I don't know no men that talking about what a woman won't let me do. I don't know men like that, and I don't want to. I really don't. I mean, it's like nails to a chalkboard to me to hear men talk like that. See, I had a real daddy as a real man as a daddy. I didn't have that. Well, you know, I wish I wouldn't. Hell to the no. I don't know no man like that. I'm just saying.
Well, let's get a good example. Walter. You will not find Walter walking around anywhere without a sports jacket on or an outright suit.
Yeah, and if he does, he's dressed up. He ain't looking out there crazy. And I see y'all saying the comments about the women with the bonnets. I don't like it either, okay? I'm not outside with no bonnet on, but I'm not always outside with no ball gown either, because I do be doing other stuff or whatever the case is, but I'm not going outside. I do own a bonnet. I actually got it recently, but I don't like it. It makes my head hot, so I don't sleep with it at all, right? I have a silk pillowcase or whatever. I don't like it, but men, don't go out with women with bonnets. You see a woman with a bonnet and she come out with it, that ain't your woman. You would want a woman with some sense. And no shade that nobody's wearing bonnets. It's just not for me. I'm not judging anybody who's out in public with bonnets on. I don't like it because, like I said, I'm 54 years old and I remember the women like my grandmamas and my mama. They combed their damn hair, right? Even if you was put it in the ponytail or whatever, hell, a baseball cap with some earrings on to keep it pushing. But there's never an excuse to wear a bonnet. It's just not. But again, I'm not judging nobody who does. Your head is hot out there in the heat. That's on you. Nyla, how you doing? Says, unfortunately, many, I think you meant male. My male associate stated many black men learn how to treat women from men in the streets. Many men don't like women. Shaking my head. They stated women should hear the way men degrade women in the barbershops among men. Many clown other men who respect women. Yeah, I know that for a fact to be true. And a lot of those men don't correct them. A lot of those men don't say, hey, you homie, stop talking about women like that or whatever the case is. They do. They kiki and ha-ha. And I've heard some disgusting things that men say about women in barbershops and things like that. And they out there trying to get all the tail they can handle. But they hate women. I agree. There's a lot of men that hate women. There's a lot of women who hate men, but they still try to stay in the presence of them, right? So yeah, Sunlight says Kevin had no audience when he corrected men. None. Kevin was so down in the dumps in YouTube. He was in a room with a regular door or whatever the case is. But then when he started bashing women, for lack of better words, you saw the ambiance change. He had all these lights. He had the music. He had all, the candles of the day. He had all that going on because people showed up to listen to the Gladiator show of him tearing women apart. But like I said, when he was telling men to use soap and water every day, nobody was listening to that. I'm sure they was clowning him. Oh, he telling to take a bath. I take a bath when I want to, Buckhorse says, pants to the ground, chumps looking real silly. Very, right? Star Jammer says, Demetra, my hardest It says this, as a single male parent was trying to teach my daughter to be a lady and woman. She seemed to be doing fine at 25. It is hard, but I'm assuming she had some feminine energy, whether it was grandmas or somebody, right? Somewhere, I'm sure there was some feminine energy to teach her those things. I would imagine. I don't know. You know, Micah says, I told my son to make makes belts for a reason. Or two, if I had to tap that A, absolutely, right? Damien says, stop with the statues. Yeah, I ain't heard that one. All right, let's see who else is on here. Tracy says, weak and sorry men use women as an excuse unless there is some truth as to why she won't allow the child to be around them. I'm going to be honest with you. I do know men that are fighting hard-headed heifers that are mad because they not together no more, or he won't let her control him, so they use the child as a pawn. That actually happens a lot. So I don't want to say that it doesn't. Yeah, there's some cases where women don't want the man to be around the child, but make sure it's a good reason. Not because, well, I just feel like and you won't tell me. And nah, because now you're weaponizing and alienating the child away from their other parent. And the child is not half of the other parents belong. The child does not just belong to half of the child doesn't belong to the other parent. All of the child belongs to the other parent, right? So when we start seeing things like that, and I think we'll have better relationships. But yeah, there's women out there who do that to men all day. Like I said, I know of a few of them, you know, that do that to men. Oh yeah, I can't get my way. Well, I'm gonna put the white man on you. You know, I'm gonna go to court and get all these restraining orders, and I'm gonna take you out through the system because I can't get my way with you. That's wrong. Ahmed, how you doing? You say gold diggers, okay. Brother David says, so on the flip side, what about women in booty shorts? I mean, if you don't like your women in booty shorts, don't make that woman in the booty shorts your woman. It's just that simple. A lot of times men try to get these women with their big old booty sticking out of the booty shorts and then try to take her home and then say, nah, I need you to put on something that's appropriate. I mean, you should have demanded that from her when you met her. Because a woman that's got her butt hanging out in public probably ain't got no sense, and she ain't going to have no sense in the house when you make her your woman. So get a woman that knows how to dress when she's in public. It's just that simple. I know the big booties look good, but what's behind the booty? Yeah, I said it. What's behind the booty? Majestic, how you doing? He says, so an impasse. And I'm sorry, I know I'm so behind in the comments. I don't know what that means. Brother Steven says, back in the day, us men used to dress to impress, slacks and hard bottom shoes and a nice jackets and sweaters, plus smell good even when we stepped to the mall and got some samples. Yeah, these men nowadays look rolled hard and put away wet like they ain't took a bath in the last week. It's like, dude, do you own anything other than sweats, basketball shorts and tennis shoes? Like, man, you know, put some clothes on, especially if you're going out with a young woman. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of these men out here in their 40s and 50s and 60s dressed like that, like a teenager. Like, man, put some damn clothes on like your daddy used to do, you know? Lady Wright Moore, how you doing? Says you can feel like he says $2 million. I think he meant dressing down. I do. He says it's all in how you carry yourself. Peace and love, everybody. Yeah, you could. You know, you don't got to spend a lot of money to look like you care. I love to see men that's looking good, smelling good. I will. I'll be like, oh, he look good. He dressed nice. He got some slacks on. He got like some shirt on. He smell. I love to walk by a man that smell good. It's like, oh, brother, what you wearing? I like that. But it's
Brute.
Brute ain't bad. You know, just make sure it ain't mixed with no funk. But I can't tell you the last time I walked in there and buy a man and he had on some cologne. It's like, y'all don't do that no more. I was at Ulta today, and my daughter, she's in love with Drake. And she wanted to smell his new cologne. It's a, what do you call it? Unisex. Oh, it smells so good. I said, oh, this would smell so good on a man. It really would. But anyway, I'm speaking out loud.
Hey, we got Al Jackson in the chat. He says a lot of black people wear Crocs everywhere. A big shout out, Al's last child finally graduated. Yes. But you're not free yet, Al. You got 4 more years of college.
Right. Uh, Tracy said Cynthia G was the same when she didn't get any traction. She made black men her target. Her and Kevin would have made a great couple. Absolutely. Right. You know, started hating on black men because you made the wrong choice. You chose wrong. So you made that your platform. You look like a fool. You know what I mean? Because you ain't dated all black men to even make that type of assessment that black men ain't this, that, and the other. Talk about the black men that you gave out. I was about to make a Ice Cube reference, but I think that might still be a little bit too below the belt. You gave your goods to a man and you didn't battle test him. You didn't know if he was gonna stick around. I don't even know what the situation is. I've heard, so I don't want to speculate. But that be mad at those brothers, not all brothers. Hey, Pop, how you doing? Herschel says, I actually started watching Kevin Samuels when he was giving out fashion tips. You're one of the 5 that were, right? Facts Not Feelings says, see, we are lumping all women together. He says, all women are not the same. Stop lumping decent women with low body counts with women of the streets with dozens or more body counts. I'm not doing that because I know that's not all women. Star Jammer says, Demetri, my mom put me on game and told me women are domineering and dominating. She can be if she's with a man that's a punk. Excuse my French. If she with a man that don't reach down and grab them every once in a while. Yeah, she gonna be dominant. I think that's kind of maybe a trait, but it's a counterbalance. If the man is weak, the woman is gonna feel like I need to be strong. I need to be masculine because he's feminine, right? But if a man is walking in his masculinity, the woman will walk in her femininity, and a man that's walking in his masculinity ain't gonna deal with no woman who is masculine. He's just not going to. It's gonna be like the worst thing ever for him to deal with that type of woman. But I'm not saying this about nobody because I don't know, right? Donovan sent me a message. Okay. If you were the type of man that's used to dealing with a Bathsheba, Delilah, or any of them other heifers, you might want to check your masculinity because it's probably running on empty. I'm just keeping it real. Okay. That's a you thing. If you keep getting with these hard-headed ass women you can't talk to, I said, you sit down. That's a you thing. You might need to go to a man camp or something. I don't know.
Demetri's cooking today. Oh, I don't know what you on. What you drinking over there?
Donovan, you know this is me in real life. You know this is me. On here, I try to really kind of balance it out, because I know some people be like, you tripping. I'm an equal opportunist here when it comes to men and women because I haven't always been perfect. I know I am now. And I'm just kidding. So I know a thing or two about being a woman. So when I say that I know how women get downhill. Women been awful to me. And I would say, well, I ain't probably been about the same. I've had some men that's awful to me too. But yeah, I've had women have been awful to me, and especially black women, white women too. But yeah. So I don't sit up here and say, believe all women. Don't even know what I say. I say, believe all women do lie sometimes a lot. Okay? Believe all women because women do be lying. A woman will bat her eyelashes at you and say, oh no, I didn't do that. Right? So I know.
Just like Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lane could have just been killed and she would have been perfectly fine with it.
Facts Not Feelings. I'm not defending no street women. I don't really even listen. I know some women when we were younger that were that way, but when you grow, you evolve or whatever. I don't hang out with street women. I don't. So I'm not defending any of these women. And you shouldn't know any street women either. And if you know street women, not, saying it's in love, street women gonna do what street women do. They do carry razor blades in their purse at night and in the daytime. Okay. So that's a rough crowd right there. They got to get it how they live it. So if you're dealing with street women, that could be why, sometimes as men, your perception of women is warped because you're not dealing with a real woman. You're dealing with a woman who in the trenches has got to, she got to eat that night. So she going to do whatever she got to do. So I don't even hang out with street women. Hell, I don't even hardly hang out with no women or men for that matter. Hey, Clifton, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I read Al's comment. How you doing, Al? Herschel says, I refuse to wear Crocs. They look ridiculous. I mean, I have some for the house, but, I'm a little bit, I like to be a little bit more buttoned up when I go out and do something, You know what, Pop, I knew you wasn't going to act right, but I love you nevertheless. You said you got to let a hoe be a hoe. I can't stand you. Fast I Feeling says you reach down and grab a woman, you end up in jail. I said as a man, you need to reach down sometimes and grab your own so you can remind yourself of what you holding on. Now, some of y'all probably got them that big, but pretend, envision. But the premise to that
ain't no P. Diddy over here. Ain't no P. Diddy over here.
I'm just saying, I don't know what you got, a P. Diddy, or E. Diddy, whatever it is, right? Sometimes as a man, you got to grab them and say, I'm a man. You run around dealing with these hard-headed women. Like I said, that's on you. You blaming that woman. She is who she is. But I know that if a man is operating in his full capacity as a man, most women gonna concede that to him. Oh, all right, baby, you right. I do be talking a lot sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. That woman is gonna concede power to you. But if you a wimp, yeah, she's not gonna do that. So Ali says she thanks Donovan. She will be going to Gonzaga, majoring in speech pathology. That's a hell of a field right there. Sunlight says, Demetra, Cynthia doesn't have traction either way. Says, have you noticed that Cynthia G is popular, a popular go-to, just like Kevin Samuel phony stats? Yeah, and I don't follow Cynthia G. I did watch, some of Kevin Samuel's things. I just tried for me personally to stay out of that space because it's negative. You got these man haters and these women haters. It's like, my daughter, she's a funny kid, but she says she heard that if a man always talking about women, how much they hate women, he really want a man. I don't know how true it is. Yeah, Super Patriot, if you weak, you will be dominated. Yep. Mission Vision, you laughing. Let's see who else is on here. We're about to get out of here. Clifton says, Demetra is talking out of love. I am. I'm never talking out of hate. It's never, because I know there's some people on the internet or wherever they mean and malicious. I don't do that. Because like I said, I'm never sitting up here and talking to y'all from a point of, oh, I was always perfect. Oh, hell no. I was 20 once. I was, 19 once. In my 30s once. And in my 40s. And I'm saying all that to say I made some blunders. You know what I mean? It was in love. I got, bumped in the head a few times by relationships and stuff like that. And it wasn't always all their fault, So I'm speaking from experience. I really am. In my 20s, I was that chick that let my boyfriend use my car and that mofo didn't show up. And I had to spend the night at my homegirl house because I lived too far from the job so I could go to work the next day. And then that sucker, I pretended like, oh, I didn't know he needed a ride. Fool, you in my car. I was that girl in my 20s, that same boyfriend, I had a DUI in my car. And I had to go beg the sergeant to give me my car because he was going to impound it for 30 days. And he gave it to me. I had to pay for that. He says, if you get your car impounded, he says, I like you. And he says, I think you working hard. And I believe you that you can't get your daughter back and forth to school and you can't get back and forth to work. He says, I'm going to give you a car. He says, but if you let him drive your car again and you get it impounded, he says, don't come up in here. Don't ask me to use to get your car out. He didn't have to, but he did. It says, I believe you. And I was sick as a dog. It was just like a perfect storm going on. So
riding with the bad boys, even Demetra K.
He was a thug. He was, I know a little bit about some thugs. Listen, I'm not coming to y'all from that standpoint of I did it all right. I didn't. But that's what you do in your 20s. You learning, right? You on the learning curve and things like that. And I ain't let him in my car no more because I didn't like having to dig into my pocket to get my car out what I couldn't afford to do. And he shouldn't have been in my car, especially after he left me hanging because he was probably tricking off. I'm sure he was. And that's embarrassing. Had to go spend the night at your friend's house. But see, my friend was also going through it too because we was 20-year-olds trying to navigate life as single mamas, but we had good ass jobs though. But we had sorry dudes. And I'm just keeping it real with you. You know what I mean? So I don't ever come to y'all from a point of I always had it right. Even with the good ass daddy I got, I made some mistakes. You know what I mean? So yeah, which is why I only got one child. I had my child when I was 21. I didn't want to do that again with several other men. That was just me. I wanted one child by one man. And, that was hard enough. But I raised some of my other nieces and nephews. So I'm telling you, one day if I write a book, y'all going to be like, word? For real? So, yeah, I'm speaking from experience. Alex said some women don't wear no panties at all. Your thought? I don't want to know if they wearing panties or not. I don't never want to know that, and nobody should never know if you wearing them or not.
I would like to know that information.
We know. Y'all got me working up a sweat up in here. Jerron, how you doing? Says the recovering Democrat is looking like a young buck today. Yeah.
I'm getting my Yul Brynner on today, just making it, I need a little sun up there, too much hat. So I got to go outside.
Yeah, you need a little sun. Just get you some hair, spray some glue up there, and go to the barbershop when they sweep up the hair, get it and put it in a baggie, spray some glue up there and just put it on there. And then
give me a man unit. I'm good.
Nobody would ever know. Get you a man unit, something real close to your head and all of that. I think you look great. It might boost your confidence a little bit. Mad Dog says, I love it when women dress in jeans and business clothes. Yeah, that's a good look too. Put on some heels or whatever the case is, Let's see here. It's Star Jam says, Donovan, an undercover freak. I don't know nothing about that.
You guys do not want to know what I be doing behind closed doors in the bedroom. You have no idea. But if Demetra works with me, her sister will find out.
and she would kill Donovan, okay? She would. Donovan would be like, help! Mad Dog also say that's why I date in the wintertime, because I love going out with women wearing jeans and a nice turtleneck sweater. Yeah, wintertime is my favorite too, because I could dress. Y'all see, I'll be sweating. Y'all get me going. I'll be sweating. Herschel says, I love my doggy friends. So y'all talking about Donovan's dog. But yeah,
Jenny was on his best behavior when Demetra came by. He was on his best behavior.
I was over Donovan's house. That dog is bad as hell. I had to walk outside. I was like, I need a break. Donovan's dog is bad.
I had to get the stick for her. He was so excited.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in Donovan's living room. Me and my daughter. My daughter loves dogs, and she's playing. She doesn't mind all the jumping of the dogs on her and stuff. So the Donovan's dog was so bad. He had company. Somebody that came over. Donovan's dog so bad. He hands me the stick, and I'm trying to, I wasn't gonna hit the dog, but I lifted the stick. The dog was rah, 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 rah. I said, hell to the no. I'm getting up and I'm going outside. And when Donovan's done with his company, he could come deal with Cujo. Okay. No. Cujo was wilding.
He's just a little pity. He just made a year. He's a year now. He's officially a year. Just a pity.
No, that dog is bad. You said, Lord, after hours. Yeah, we a little too early for after hours. But speaking of which, y'all, I don't think I'll be on here Sunday. I'm going to be traveling. If I have some downtime, maybe I'll get on my phone. I'm in stream or something. I don't know. Just say hello. I'm going to try my best. I won't be really with a stable connection for a couple of days. But when I get back on land, per se, then I'll try to do some lives. If I thought Donovan would behave himself, I would let him do it. But Donovan is going to be like, what's his name? Jeffrey Holder on Boomerang. Oh, Strange. I took a scent from her panties and I mixed it with this, that. And I come back. I get an email from YouTube, but like, you're done, sis. You're done. Okay. You're done.
The sad thing is, it's true. That would be true.
Right. Star Jeremy says, Demetra, I don't ever see summer dresses in my area. Says just sleeper jumpsuits and robes and slippers. Where you live? They wear robes and jumpsuits. Yeah, women should wear sundresses. But I know I ain't talking to no ladies on here. I'm talking to the ladies over there. Okay. Put some underwear on under your sundress. Okay. I know the men like when your booty be, jiggling all up, and put some underwear on under your sundress.
Would a G-string suffice as underwear?
No. Okay. Put some underwear on under the dress, ladies.
Bloomers. You mean like to put the bloomers on, the granny panties?
Yeah, some that you don't see all the panty lines, but yeah, because that's the men like it, but the men only like that. They don't care about nothing you talking about. They just seeing your booty just bouncing like basketballs up under the dress. Okay. I know you men don't like that, but I'm just speaking to the ladies, put some control. Cause some of the sisters, when I say you, I mean we, Can't really walk around with just sundresses and very little under there, okay? I wear pants under my sundress. That's how old I've gotten, okay? I wear pants under mine. So I'm just saying. And Ais, how you doing? Where you been? You said, I wear dresses. Yeah. My mom told me that a long time ago. She says, men love to see women in dresses. Pants are cool, but she says they really love, and I don't know, y'all men, y'all tell me, she says men like women that wear dresses because it's
feminine. That's why.
Yeah, it's feminine. Jeans are cool if you dress them up nice, but yeah, man want to see a woman in a dress every once in a while. Some women talking about, I don't do dresses. Okay. Pop, you crazy talking about team booty. Mike Knight says, basketball is my favorite sport. I bet. Star Jammer says, I miss a woman's smile. Yeah. And you know what? I miss a man's smile. I see some men, I'm like, damn, what happened? They just look like they want to kill you. So yeah, people should smile. You say, and I saw dresses and skirts and dresses. Yes. Ain't nothing like a woman in a pencil skirt. I used to wear, I used to own all kind of pencil skirts, and then a house fire happened. But yeah, I was a pencil skirt queen. Yes, indeed. With a nice little heel. You know, I used to wear them to work. Used to wear them to church. But they weren't the bad pencil skirts to church. Let me quit if I get in trouble. Mad Dog says, oh, of course, I like to see women in dresses. Yeah. I heard that ladies put on a dress every once in a while. Anyway, and men, y'all put on some nice stuff too. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. But as I said, I'm going to be here Sunday. I'm going to pray on giving Donovan the link, letting him come on here. You say scorch at the gym. Yeah, I wear sweats at the gym, baggy t-shirts, because you don't need
dress appropriately for where you're going. There's nothing wrong with, gym attire at the gym. It's just...
And Donovan, as much as he loves women, he hates that. It's I see it too at the gym. Women be having stuff jugged all up on both sides of the aisles. It's like, dude, then you're gonna be the first one mad when a man glance your way. It's like, I personally think Jim should say, you got a nice shape. I get it, ma'am. However, that you got a little bit too much going on. You got all the crevices showing, and we don't.
Camel toe is.
I've seen it all, and I'm like, why? And I'm not saying that because we should be ashamed of our bodies and stuff, but there should be some modesty. And Donovan, they're not even wearing that at the gym only. They wearing it everywhere. You could be in Walmart, you could be anywhere, and these women wearing this crap. They have these pants they've come up with in the last couple of years where it purposely is built to go all the way up in your crack to separate your booty cheeks. They out there like that everywhere. And it's like, come on.
And ladies, not everybody can wear a tennis skirt. Ladies, let me repeat. Not everybody can wear a tennis skirt. Some of y'all are very gifted, and it's useless. If the skirt in the back is up here, what's the point?
I can't wear a tennis skirt. I can't. I'm one of those.
Exactly. You're the one that has that problem, right?
And you can't wear everything, right? You just can't. Mission Vision says, I like jeans, dresses. I feel like I draw too much attention. I'm already tall. Yeah. But you can't help that, right? So anyway, it just says fake BBL pants. Yeah, that's what they are. Fair to say Friday. Yes, indeed, Mike. So anyway, we're going to get out here. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. But I would go ahead.
Before we get out of here, for those of you guys that have graduates coming up, congratulations. You guys have made it. You're going on to college. Congratulations to all you guys, grandkids, kids, all of that. Congratulations.
Fast Enough Business says, here's a secret. Women are more attracted to men that's not smiling than a man who is smiling for nothing at all. Why women are more attracted to a mystery man when she can't tell what's on his mind. I like men who smile. Men who are frowning and not smiling. I mean, even if a man is not smiling, but if I'm not going to approach you, I won't talk to you, but I love a man that smiles, Man that smiles, he may be happy or he's trying to be happy. Smiling does, rearrange your whole attitude. Sometimes when I
Yes,
don't
the
feel like,
fellas, if you're gonna smile, make sure you have all your teeth.
now you done took it a bridge too far. And when I say a bridge, I mean a bridge in your mouth. Okay, you done took it a bridge too far. And now he says, I'm wearing my tennis skirts. I'm pretty thin. So yeah, if you're thin, you could get away with it. Yeah, I can't. I never have really been able to, even when I was in drill team. It as a kid, right? It was just kind of, whatever. I'm 54. I ain't gonna be wearing no tennis skirts nowhere. Clifton says, thank you. Well, no, thank you for being here. So anyway, we love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all feel free to donate if you want to, like, subscribe, and all of that. Much appreciated. Also, we have the African Diaspora News app, the africandiasporanews.org. Invest in that. You will not be sorry. In the meantime, I will try to come before you as much as I can while I'm away. But I will miss you nevertheless. See y'all later. Sunlight, you ain't right. You ain't right. Talking about not every man can wear speed up.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna have to get her in the email. Hold on. I'm gonna get...
Or you gonna get you together, Sunlight. Anyway, I'll let y'all have that outside of here. Peace.